In this episode, we unworthily share Booth 42 with a traveling good time facilitator named Chandelier.
She's from the planet Pleasurinda VI, where they believe in survival of the prettiest.
So roll up your towel into a pillow, lean back, and
Prepare to learn how not having a high beauty score can be disastrous to your future existence.
Shut up and sit down.
welcome back to another edition of Hitchhikers and Appetizers. I am your host, Trellis Gardeen, and with me as always is...
I am another host. I am, of course, Horatio Zinn. Welcome.
Yes, and we have another exciting guest for you today. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, why, yes. My name is Chandelier, and I am just a citizen of the universe, you know?
Oh, this is exciting. A citizen of the entire universe?
I mean, I was born on Pleasurinda VI, but I consider myself a citizen of the universe.
Now, I just want to make sure I get this correct. You born a Pleasurinda VI, you said?
Yes. 6. It's very important to remember 6.
Ah, very good. I want to know why.
Yes, what is the reason 6 is so prominently affixed to your planet name?
Oh, well, you know, when the first Pleasurinda was founded, it was a huge failure. So we just kept adding on numbers until we found the right one. And Pleasurinda 6 was the one that stuck. So, of course, we had to destroy all the other Pleasurindas.
Well, of course.
So you've destroyed 5 planets, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Did you destroy the inhabitants that were getting it wrong?
Yes, I mean, or at least the ones that weren't pretty enough. Oh.
I see. Did they even know it was coming, or did you just jump on a ship, said you had some other sort of business to attend to? Oh, we're going for a short jaunt. We'll be back in about 30 minutes.
Oh, they knew and they understood. You know, they knew that, you know, survival of the prettiest was the rule of law. And so as we waved goodbye, they waved and said, "We understand."
That is wonderful. They literally said, "We understand."
Yes.
We are far too unattractive to be surviving in the universe, and it's just time for us to go.
It's time to go. You know, for the growth of Pleasurinda, we count them as martyrs to the cause.
Ooh, do you have any monuments to them?
Yes, do you?
Oh, no.
They're too ugly? They'd just be too unattractive?
Oh, it would be horrendous to see a monument to those people. They were terrible looking people.
Oh.
That's what I understand from the history books. You know, we saw that they were just getting uglier and uglier, so it was just time to go.
This is fascinating because you're obviously very attractive.
Very.
Incredibly attractive. I was not to make you self-conscious, but where would you be on the scale of attractive in your culture?
Oh, well, you know, on a scale of 1 and 10, I would be a 15.
Oh, my. Oh, you set a high standard.
Oh,
You're rewriting
yes.
the scales, as it were.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. Well, it's not just a binary choice of hot or not.
No, you are assigned a rating upon your 16th birthday, and you know, if you score above a 10, that means that you are a chosen representative of our world.
Chosen a representative to the rest of the universe, or just around the world, or is it 10 and below you stay on the planet? You're still good looking.
Yeah, 10 and below, you're still good looking, but you stay on the planet. But all of us above 10s, that's what they call us.
The above 10.
Go throughout the universe and facilitate a good time, if you know what I mean.
I know about good times. I know various good times, but this is a non-specific good time. Would this good time depend on the individual, what they consider a good time, or what you consider a good time on Pleasurinda VI?
Oh, well, it would just depend on what they would consider a good time and how many space coins they have.
Yes, that would depend. So you pay there's a payment to this.
There's a fee for everything, Horatio.
Well, that's true.
There's a service being rendered of it could be anything from parties, organizing things to offering beauty advice, I think. My Planet, Chandelier, that's a lovely name, by the way. Do you have, do you go by any sort of nicknames?
Oh, well, my dear friends call me Shandy, and you know
Shandy.
what? I consider you friends, so go ahead.
Let me try this.
So
Let me try Shandy.
Yeah, my planet is Glandar, the plastic surgery center of the universe.
Oh.
So I'm thinking we should connect a little bit later after this because, if you are offering consulting services on how to be better looking to many of these planets, I'm not saying for sure how much it might be, but there could be a kickback for you waiting on Glandar if you were to send them to us for a few upgrades.
Well, to be honest, if they're ugly enough to need plastic surgery, they would have been dead long time ago.
Perfectly fair. Where would you put my friend Trellis here on the scale? If he were from your world, where on the hotness scale would he land?
Well, I would say, usually a space lady never reveals, but I would give you both about a 9.2.
Very good. We both get a 9.2. Is that a combined score, or is that individually?
Oh, of course it's combined.
Who's making up the larger portion of the 9.2?
Well, there's more of me.
I don't think it's a physical presence, though. It's the vibe you're giving off, Horatio. Hopefully, you're more of the 0.2 and I'm the 9.
I'll let you guys fight about that amongst yourselves.
That would require a lot of effort, though, and neither of us is probably willing to put in the work to actually have a fight.
When we fight, it has more to do with, well, I'm going to eat some of this, and he says, well, I'm going to eat some of this, and I'm going to drink some of this. That's how we fight.
Oh.
That's our form of dueling, is to match each other on eating or drinking.
I usually don't eat, when I'm on the clock. Unless a gentleman buys me something,
Oh, well, there might be a gentleman nearby. If you are hungry.
Oh, yeah. We've never been referred to as gentlemen, but interesting has been used.
Oh, okay.
And then depending on the context, it's good or bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've also been called go away. I took it as a compliment at first because it was.
Oh.
I felt like using it as a compliment to myself.
I would never tell you to go away. I mean, my intentions are based on the contents of your wallet, but I would just walk away. I would take myself out of the situation.
Very sensible. Because if someone just walked away from me, chances are that would work for them because I'm very lazy and I probably would not follow.
Well, that's very good. That's very good because those two gentlemen over there.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw them. They're very large and very angry looking.
Yes. It's hard not to notice that.
Yes.
I assumed it was because they hadn't gotten their food, but perhaps not.
They're angry all the time. Those are my bodyguards.
Oh, they are. Where would they land on the attractive scale?
Oh, they're clearly twos, but. We do have to have a servant class.
Yes, that makes someone has to do the work.
Yes.
There's a lot of work going into being pretty, and all of those other trivial things just have to fall to someone.
Oh, yes, someone has to do it. I just get so tired just facilitating good times all over the universe.
Well, and as attractive as you are, you must be exhausted.
Oh, just the strength to have a face like this. Oh. It's a lot.
What's the? It can't always be fun in games. What's like one of the worst or least fun, pleasurable events you've had to plan?
I had met this gentleman, and he was from Blurkin, and he told me that he was the owner of a stardust mine, and he was going to treat me to anything I wanted to wear on my person. But then I found out he was lying. He wasn't. He had no money at all.
No
money at all.
How rude.
Yes.
Whatever could you do?
All I could do was walk away, and let Mutt and Jeff get them.
I'm just trying to imagine the pummeling that they would give someone that
Their
you did
fists
not
are
want to deal
enormous.
with. Yes.
Oh, it's very painful from what I understand. And let's just say that gentleman does not have a face anymore.
I'm sure. It's interesting because I've never seen a being with 3 hands on each arm, and when those large tri-fists get to moving, I'm sure it's very dramatic.
Oh, yes. Where do you think the term Fist of Fury came from?
Oh, really? Learning something new yet again. Fists of Fury, the Tri-Fists of Fury.
With your current iteration of your planet, were you descended from anyone who didn't move on to one of the other planets? Were there some uglies in your past family line, and they weren't able to move on?
Oh, yes. My poor grandmother, her name was Mary Grace Grace. She was pretty enough to survive Pleasurinda 4, made it Pleasurinda 5, but was found too ugly for Pleasurinda 6. So
the bar is raised.
Yes. So
a sliding scale of beauty.
right, and I loved her, so I loved my grandmother, but I had to be the one to tell my grandmother, "You're ugly now, and it's time to go."
Oh,
now that has to be quite a shock from going from being considered good looking to not good looking enough to move on to another planet. Or did she take it in stride, like you mentioned before, that people she understood?
She understood, but she was very upset. I guess it didn't really help that I told her that she was dead to me.
Well, that could be a bit of a cold shock.
Yes.
How did you break it to her? What did you say?
Yes.
Well, I came in and I was like, "Oh, grandmother, how are you?" And she was like, "Oh, hello. Would you like some tea?" And I said, "Yes, I would love some tea. Also, you're ugly now and you're about to die. 2 lumps, please."
No, it's good to be direct on that because
1 lump to the soul and 1 lump for the tea.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious, when you have a new planet, a new Pleasurinda, what happens to the inhabitants of that planet? Or do you go to an unsettled world, or do you conquer a world, and make it your own?
It just depends, like sometimes we'll go and it's find an uninhabited world and make it our own, and sometimes we'll find one and there's people there and they're so ugly they don't even realize it. So we have to conquer it just to show them what's best.
You're only doing what's best for them.
Yes. Some call it gentrification, but I call it fun.
Well, it sounds delightful.
Yeah.
It sounds delightful.
Now, in the future, maybe when this planet decides to make its shift, once there's been a clear change in the bar for what is considered beautiful and not beautiful, maybe you all should, if you have the money, of course, seek out Magrathea, the planet building civilization.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I've heard of them.
They've done some very fine work.
I was associated with a gentleman on that planet. I know it well.
Really?
Yes.
Associated.
They do have a lot of money.
Yes.
He had so much money. His money was in carbon deposits.
Oh, very smart. Very smart.
Yes, very, very old money.
That's a currency that never drops in value. It's very stable investment.
Yeah, very stable. So stable that I married him.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Oh, well, he died.
In retrospect.
Was he good looking enough to go to Pleasurinda 6, or is this a long distance thing?
Oh, no, this was a how do you call it? A marriage of convenience.
His money made it very convenient, is what you're saying.
Yes, very convenient. I mean, it was inconvenient when he died because I loved him, of course. Oh, but being a wealthy widow, it helps me live the life to which I have become accustomed.
That's very practical.
That is extremely practical. And
Yes.
I've tried to marry some wealthy counterparts, but it just hasn't worked out to the point where they actually would say yes. I should probably get to know them before I just walk up and say, "Would you like to marry me?" That my approach isn't probably the most efficient. Well, no, actually, it is efficient. It's just not effective.
Well, there was one. I believe your fifth wife. I believe that when she was rich when you first tried to marry. She actually said yes.
Oh.
But then your marrying her devalued her. She lost money that way.
If somebody had shorted her value on our marriage, had they known that they were going to marry, if they had an inside tip, as it were, they probably could have made a lot of money.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
But she was part of that group divorce I had when I had the 23 wives and I had to divorce them all at once. That was Horatio knows how rough that was.
That was very costly. He had to move in with me for a little while. And that was sad because I was actually sleeping on someone else's couch at the time.
Oh.
He was my Pleasurinda VI. We went from Trellis 5 to Pleasurinda VI.
Oh, you two are hilarious. Well, the way I get to know a person or a gentleman that I intend to pay attention to is I do a quick analysis of his financial records.
This is a courtship ritual then?
Yes.
Checking the financial records?
Exchanging of the balances.
Yes. Without finance, there is no romance.
Oh, yes.
So true.
I must write that down.
Without money, there is no honey.
Yes, that's a good one. I like that one.
Without bucks, there are no...
Oh!
I can't think of a word for that one.
Sultry looks.
Without bucks, there are no sultry looks. That's a good one, Horatio.
Do you have any children of your own?
I do enjoy a child every now and then. Sometimes I get stuck with a stepdaughter or a stepson.
Now, is that because you're worried they might end up prettier than you and having to, leave you on a Pleasurinda VI?
Maybe, but that couldn't be possible since I'm a 15.
Well, that's true.
Well, what if the bar gets raised eventually, and a 15 is more like a 1? Does that worry you?
I don't like to think about that. I just prefer to just assume this is the last Pleasurinda, and I'm going to live out my years enjoying my ex-husband's money.
Yes. So I'm sure your mother felt the same way.
Oh, she did.
Yes.
And was she angry when she died?
Emotion is a powerful thing, isn't
it? Yes. She thought that she would last on Pleasurinda VI forever, but, well, she fell out of a window accidentally.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm sure you tried to help stop her from falling out the window.
Yes, when I reached, I said, "Oh, Mama, help, please stop." But she was already gone.
Oh.
Now, is your father still alive, or do you have any siblings?
Oh, well, my father is also a good time facilitator, so we don't know where he is.
He's off working right now.
He's off working right now. I think he's on his 10th wife.
Ooh, do you get along with your stepmothers?
If I must.
That sounds reasonable to me. I have to be forced into getting along with some creatures.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just what you have to do.
Some of them a few feet away from you in the booth.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I'd be offended if I understood that. You call your Good Time Ambassadors, Good Time Facilitator. What is the official title for your outreach?
Well, I am just someone who takes care of a gentleman for an honorarium.
Ooh, an honorarium. I like that, honorarium.
Yes, I facilitate for honorarium's sake.
Is there training for this? Is this something that you were born to do, or it's something you just sign up for, or
It's in my bloodline, so every woman, every female Pleasurindian has this career goal in mind.
very good. So this is something you were raised knowing that you were destined to do.
Yes, I was destined to do it. My mother did it. My grandmother did it before she got ugly.
Ugliness can be such a handicap.
Yes. I remember my first time meeting with a gentleman, and my mother said, "Shandy, here's your one chance. Don't let me down."
Oh,
that's
how encouraging that is. How encouraging. Did she threaten to withdraw her love if you failed?
She did. She did.
What a wonderful way to encourage offspring to do better.
She's a motivator. She is a motivator.
Yes. Prime motivator.
You're kicking the baby bird out of the nest and hoping she can fly into the arms of a very wealthy benefactor.
Of course.
What a beautiful metaphor.
Oh, yes.
The image is riveting, I think.
It is.
Is there any religion on your planet, or do people? I mean, are you worshiping beauty? Are there priestesses and priests that help spread the word of you better not get ugly or you're not going anywhere?
Yes. So we worship at the feet of our God. He is the most beautiful being in the universe, and he lives forever. You know, he's a fabulous dresser, a great singer. Yes, I am an acolyte of John Bon Jovi.
Ooh.
Oh my!
I can't even say his name without getting emotional because I love him.
Tears. I've never seen so many tears.
Yeah.
Leaking from so many pores.
I need to.
I'm sorry. I need to wipe myself down with the towel.
Now, does John Bon Jovi require any tribute offerings?
Yes.
What sort of thing?
He does like to receive our first coin that we received from a gentleman.
Nice.
just to pay tribute. You know.
Yes.
Do you frame it, or
I frame
put it in
it.
a shadow box for him?
Yeah, I put it in a nice mahogany shadow box. Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
And on holidays, we often bring him the hearts of the men we've conquered.
Oh.
The literal hearts.
Yeah.
Not the emotional hearts, the actual physical. Are they still beating when you bring them to him?
Preferably, yes, as fresh as possible. Whatever your heart-like organ is, whatever your species, we bring it to John Bon Jovi, and we give him our gifts of love. I'm crying again.
It is beautiful.
It's of broken love, right? Broken heart. You're leaving them broken-hearted and without a heart.
I would say more severed-hearted. More severed-hearted.
Yeah, so, I mean, the clearer the cut, the better the tribute.
That makes sense. So the neatness counts in this regard.
Yeah.
In terms of the heart tribute.
Yes. As long as they're neat cuts, the first cut is the deepest.
That's very true. It should be anyway, because otherwise you might not know that it's a serious cut.
Yes, and it's less messy that way.
Now, so would removing the heart of one of your gentlemen, would that be sealing the deal in your way?
Of course.
I assume this will be the final part of your transaction with the gentleman.
Yes, after they've signed over their financial, assets to me.
Yes.
Then comes the awkward time where I got to get out my knife and I tell them, it's been fun, but I got to get payment.
Have any of them
The final payment.
The final payment, yes.
Have any of them ever resisted, like misunderstood, or claimed, "Oh, I didn't see that in the fine print"?
This is not what I signed up for, and then Mutt and Jeff have to probably help out, I would imagine.
Yes. There was one fellow that he resisted, and Mutt and Jeff had to hold him down, poor soul, as I ripped into there. And I had to do it in a hurry. I couldn't even cut. I had to just rip it out.
Oh my! What kind of tribute did that make? Was that It sounds like a very not very neat tribute.
No, I wasn't my best work, but John Bon Jovi recognized that he needed it in a hurry, so he forgave me.
That is beautiful. To have an understanding deity like that.
Yes, he is very understanding, so full of grace, and he just happens to really love the blood of victims.
Well, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Most deities do. Now, what were to happen if you weren't able to offer him tribute? I mean, is John Bon Jovi a wrathful deity at all?
He is. I have never displeased him, but I had a friend that did, and she lost a whole point on her beauty scale.
Oh,
demotion.
Yeah.
That could be the difference between moving on to Pleasurinda VII, isn't it?
Yes. If she goes down any further, say we have to leave Pleasurinda VI, we would have to leave her behind.
Oh my! Would you get to actually tell her that she was getting left behind?
Oh
Would that
God,
be left
I hope
to her
so.
child? So it's an
I
honor.
hope so. Yes, it is an honor to tell someone they are no longer good enough for your society.
What a lovely, lovely ritual.
Yes.
What's the largest drop he's ever done, given to somebody?
Well, I heard of a girl. Her name was Clarice, and she dropped about 9 places.
9.
Yeah.
Where was she at the beginning? Where did she start?
She was a 10 and dropped down to a 1.
Oh, that must be. Oh,
Yeah.
I bet she couldn't even show her face in public at that point.
She could.
Do you force the really low numbered denizens to wear bags?
To wear bags, and we also make them join the servant class. So now Cleric 666 is my handmaiden.
Oh, well, it's costly. It's yes. I have to say the time has flown. The time has flown like a metaphor for something that flies very quickly.
Yes.
Yes, it's flown like that fast.
I think it flew by as fast as Shandy's mom fell out that window.
Oh, yes,
Oh.
yes, and with as much delicate precision. I think.
Yes, of course.
I'm sure she fell gracefully for her fall from grace.
You know what? After she fell too far for me to reach her, I just lost interest and went back inside.
Very good idea, because why waste the effort? That could crease your face. The concern or caring
Concern
about
and
that.
worry, those lines don't go away easy.
They don't go
It is
well.
obvious that you have no concern for others, because look at your face. It's so beautiful
it's
and unlined.
There is not a single line anywhere.
Yes, I just don't care.
That is a testament. I wish you could put that in some kind of cream for skin, a skin cream or something.
Do you offer
I don't
products
care.
in addition to the consulting?
Oh, well,
Are there physical things that one might purchase?
there we do have a secret serum that we make from the men that we have conquered. And we use it on our faces.
Oh my! Oh, very practical.
Well, it's working. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's working overtime.
Yes.
It's working overtime. I think it might even. I can't legally raise it, but I think it may have raised you at least 3 points.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
is that on? That would be on the jar, I would imagine. Can raise your beauty score by 3 to 5 points.
It could, and results are not typical.
They never are.
Check with your medical professional.
Always. Except for if it's not convenient, then don't bother checking with it.
Right. You don't want to have any wrinkles caring about not caring.
That would be insane. I suppose that would be a social stigma, because that would show that you actually care. That would be on your face. It would mark you.
Yes, it's a good way to be left behind.
A good way to be left behind.
Well, this has been truly interesting, Shandy.
Yes.
What are you thinking about for our entry into the guide, Horatio? I do think it would be important for our listeners and the hitchhikers around the universe to know that if they aren't pretty enough, they probably should avoid Pleasurinda VI, because if they get trapped there when the move to the next planet happens, good things are not awaiting them.
No.
I have something here. As you can tell, I've been writing, taking notes on a napkin and condiments. I believe what this is the non-smeary part. It says survival of the prettiest.
Ooh.
This is something you said earlier, and it's just stuck with me the whole time.
Yeah.
Seems to be sort of a consistent theme.
Yes. That's
I
it.
like that. Pleasurinda VI, survival of the prettiest.
Yeah.
There's also without finance, there is no romance.
Yeah.
I'll combine those. I think you should combine those.
All right, combine. Are you typing in the entry?
It's your turn.
Oh.
I can't let my beautiful fingers be put to work right now.
Oh.
No, my fingers are big and ugly, and they type.
Shandy gets me.
There we go. And now, send. There we go.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Shandy, this has been so much fun. I'm so glad you were able to stop by the booth. Please don't rip our hearts out on the way out.
I won't.
I would appreciate it. No currency has been exchanged.
This is true.
Yeah.
And we both have nothing anyway, so
we would be a total failure for you.
We would not be on your radar for anything.
Oh, don't worry, you're not.
Thank you for joining us for Hitchhikers and Appetizers. And of course, special thanks goes to our guest, Chandelier. I have been Horatio Zinn.
And I continue to be Trellis Gardeen. Until next time, keep your towels clean, and if you get bored with being immortal, you can always travel the universe insulting every single inhabitant by name and in alphabetical order. So don't panic.
Everything you heard in this episode was improvised, but not everything improvised was heard. This episode of Hitchhikers and Appetizers featured the voice talents of Mike Gorgone as Trellis Gardeen, Bran Peacock as Horatio Zinn, and Alrinthia Carter as Chandelier. Finally, Hitchhikers and Appetizers is part of the Improv in Action Network. Check out other great improvised podcasts and projects at improvinaction.com. If you'd like to reach out to Trellis or Horatio, you can send electronic messages to them at our Galaxy address, hitchappspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find them on Twitter with the handle hitchapps.
Shut up and sit down.